welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well. This is going to be part 2 of my completing buzzwordathon for 2022. If you want to check out the first part, I read All the Ways the World Can End by Abby Shear to complete the all in the title prompt. And now the one I've got left is one that has small in the title, or big or little or small or whatever. So I was going to read Small Pleasures, which I had planned to do. I'll insert a little clip about me explaining about it now. I love the look of this book, and it has great edges, and I just really like it. And they say that the ending is really it doesn't match up properly. So I am going in with the knowing that the ending might not be good. So I won't be surprised oh dang it. I don't know why I just said that. But the rest of it is still going to be good, and even if the ending is better than I sort of think, then that'll be good. So a little bit of reverse psychology. I just don't feel like it will speak to me, and I feel like if I read it at a time that I actually want to read it, I'll get more from it. So yeah, so I'm not going to read that, but I do hope to read it soon, maybe early next year. So stay tuned for a video about it soon. But yeah, so I'm going to read Small Things Like This instead. This is meant to be it's only a short little novella by Claire. Did I say it was by Claire Keegan? It's basically about a coal merchant in 1980s Ireland, and it's sort of in the run up to Christmas and how it's a busy time. It's about the main character Bill Furlong, and he delivers coal to a convent, and it's sort of he thinks back to sort of his past, and also how the community is centered around the church and things, and it's sort of meant to be a discussion on sort of religion's impact in Ireland, and sort of I think it's meant to be about how certain convents and nunneries and things were homes for young mothers who, because they couldn't have an abortion, they had the baby, and then they was taken away after them. So I think it's about that sort of that themes, but I'm not entirely sure. But it is also a Christmassy book, and obviously I want to read more Christmassy things at the moment. So yeah, so I'll be with you soon with an update on how the book went. Hello. Okay, wait, you can literally not see anything, but I put my Christmas lights up today, but oh hi. So I finished Small Things That Matter. What's it called again? Let me find my little review. Small Things Like These. I finished it. I ended up giving it 3.75 stars. I round up to 4 on Goodreads. It was good, I'd say, but it wasn't that good. I just want to give my thoughts, my review. This isn't really a reading vlog because I literally just I started it, I finished it, so it's just a review. But anyway, I have officially completed buzzwordathon for 2022, so I'm so happy about that. So then I can make it look all nice in my reading journal, and I should be, hopefully when I fill it out, I'll be doing a flip through of 2022. So yeah, but now let's get to the book. So yeah, so I said I'm slightly torn on how to rate this because it was very short. It was a novella-esque sort of book. What it was basically a novella. So yeah, so it's kind of just a short review, but basically we follow Billy Furlong in a small 1980s town during a period of economic hardships in Ireland. In a small Irish town. It's set in the run up to Christmas, and it's like a busy time for Billy because he delivers coal and like kindling and things like that to like the townspeople. um, and whilst he's delivering to a convent, he finds evidence that like some of the girls are like being overworked and neglected. This makes him think. It just makes him like think about like, different things, especially on like the thought of his like own upbringing, because his mother like had him like out of wedlock, so he didn't know who his father was, and she was quite young at the time. So his mother's like landlady slash like mistress slash like boss sort of person. I think she was like a housekeeper or something for her. She didn't like kick her out or anything like her own family did. She was like, you can stay here, and Mrs. Wilson, I think what was her name, she like sort of like became like a relative in a way and like helped out in like the upbringing of Billy, especially because his mother died like quite young. Yep. Billy also has a wife and 5 daughters, and overall is like a very nice character. He treats his own workers like well, and is perceived like well by everyone in the town. Like most people like know him, and like especially when it gets like more further into Christmas, they give him like gifts, and like it's a lot of pleasantries. He's just a very like nice, decent, hardworking, like friendly person. And yeah. So there is like more subplot, but I don't really want to like spoil anything because it's very, very short. So I did say that the characters are okay. Billy is very lovable and is shown to be quite developed, but due to its shortness, less can be actually said about like the other characters in the book. They're like there's not that much like expansion on them. You just like meet them a little bit and then sort of like not that much about them, but that's just because it is very short. The writing is good. It's quite easy to understand. I did quite like the Irish specific like references and like certain phrases and like brand names, and also like the time period things as well. Some things I didn't like know, but like I looked it up and I was like, oh, learning something new about like Irish culture in a way, and like different things, which is quite good. So I very appreciated that. And then I said how it touches on the impact of these Magdalen laundries, which is like these sort of like institutions that were across Ireland. And this is expanded on in the notes at the end of the book. And how they worked by taking in like young unmarried women, like pregnant like mothers, and sort of like mistreating them and mistreating these like young women and girls, and also the babies in their care. And it also touches on the influence of the church in Ireland, its people and other organisations. And these are both discussed, but not in that much detail or expansion as may be necessary. So yeah, so I don't really like exactly know how to talk about that. Like it was like quite like interesting to like touch on, but like I think I would have probably enjoyed it maybe a bit more had it been a bit longer, so it could have just done a bit more expansion. But I guess it is quite like good to go away and like look more into these certain like topics and things that like in sort of like the history, and how like there is like facts and stuff at the back of the book about how like between like 10 to 30,000 like young women was like in these places, and so many like babies were actually like died being in the service, the like this like play like the convent things. And I've also they sold like babies to like America and Australia and Canada and stuff, and like the church like got like the money, and like they didn't really like give back to the actual like mothers, and like make like, and they were sort of like worked bare and like treated like really badly. So yeah, so it did like touch on it, but like it would have been maybe a bit better if it was longer. That's what I'm trying to say. And I did really like this idea of like Billy, how he like focuses on sort of like small things in a way, which was nice, but again I kind of wanted a bit more of that. So yeah, that is my review of the book. Overall, I did quite enjoy it. Obviously it did touch on like some like negative themes, but it was just sort of like put in there, but maybe it would have been better if it expanded on it a bit more. And yeah, don't know what else to say. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I would actually quite like to read like something else by Claire Keenan, because I think she's written some other like short like novelty books that are like set in Ireland, and I do quite like Irish literature. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. I'm so happy I completed the buzzwordathon, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.